international diplomatic consultant, Yera Faruuk Wahab, Esha Wahab Muse. Abaya Fishapa.
Salam.
Bibia Boko there.
Inshallah.
Nobody has But you didn't say Bibia Boko.
No, Bibia okay.
Nobody has But if I will start it from this very angle, Nafi, you zoom into it much more better. Just about last week, exactly a week ago, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was sworn in as the president of the Republic of Ghana. But I stand to be corrected, but for the first time in the history of our republic, 21 heads of states and a buyer, and about, I think, almost 24 envoys also came, and other foreign diplomats a buyer. What does this say to John Dramani Mahama buying and going forward? What it means to us as Ghanaians? Okay,
Mami Chani, a tier for. Okay, Ghana at 50, we received more head of states and presidents.
Okay,
because it was Ghana, your biggest ceremony and a historic democratic history. And then as a country, being the first country originating African Union, etc. Until 50th year anniversary, we had quite a number.
Okay.
But inauguration ceremony of an incoming president elected, I think this is the most biggest.
This is the most biggest?
Yes, of course. Fantastic. Undoubtedly. Internal, you are right.
All right.
Now, you are asking, sir, why and how?
Yes.
Okay, so that is how it works. On the African continent, Ghana is a part of international community, and for that matter, African continent, and a very important member of the African Union.
Yes.
And it's a country of Africa. Na yebeswe in president. The news goes on. First and foremost, African Union are aware. So African Union, in most cases, you know, or more platforms are or more put you through the African Union platforms. That's diplomatic platform of the African Union.
Okay.
Informing the African Union of Ghana's inauguration ceremony. And the African Union Ankasa ever represented with some presidents.
Okay.
But then of course some of them no take excuses.
Yes.
No man the prime minister, man the foreign minister, no man aba. On the African continent now you have 4 blocks, but there were 6 regions of the African Union.
Okay.
There were the North Africans, and there were the East African community, East African states.
Okay.
And there were the ECOWAS.
Okay.
And there were the SADC, that is the Southern African states. And there were the Central African republics.
Yes.
And Sana, there were the seed region of the Africa, and here the African Union Diaspora Forum, which is seen as also a region.
I see.
On the African continent.
I see.
Now, African Union meaning the number of countries are so the African Union might have come with about 6 or 7 or 8 delegations, and willingly per the country, willingly per the president in our urban country, the love, the friendship or what might be a Ghana, all the friendship or need the incoming president in the war. So in this case, you know, President Mahama had been a president of Republic of Ghana before.
Yes.
He has been 6 years president, more or less, and then now coming back, you know, our friends, our government, and our friends, our share, your former president's baby.
Yes, Olusegun Obasanjo baby, good luck, Jonathan.
Exactly, Olusegun, any Jonathan, a best friend of.
And I think Jacob Zuma is also a buyer.
Yes, so that is the case. In the African Union, they don't call for buy. Central Africa don't call for buy, and then ECOWAS also represented as ECOWAS bloc, or represented as ECOWAS bloc. You know, some countries, AB will be chosen by the ECOWAS community. So some countries we know more represented, now more attended Ghana swearing in ceremony. No.
Okay.
Besides that, you know, your presidents be a ha, almost so no. The friend of President Mahama, so they decided to come. If even they were not part,
I see.
And the invitation, you know, those ones that comes from the bloc, and those ones that come from the personal invitation of His Excellency President Mahama.
I see.
SADC, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mozambique, Angola, and then Zambia, Lesotho, and then also Swatini, and those countries. Omunina SADC communities so no MF SADC represent here. But then the president that came, some came as a result and as at the instance of SADC. But some of them also came at the instance of the president-elect himself.
I see.
Central Africa, the same thing.
I see.
Now, the interesting scenario, presidents in a Bayern, some of them did not come because Ghana as a country also would invite.
Yes.
But then when Ghana invite her, up to the receiving countries, so Ombaba and now Onomba. Into blocks, you know, Ayom introduction, the African Union Ayom introduction. No? The country Ghana would also send invitation.
Okay.
Na ebi baba ebi ma. But generally what I saw and what I've known and what I noticed was that good number of the guys, presidents on Bayern, they were presidents, they were friends of the president.
The president. I see.
Elect.
I see.
And some of the invitations, you know, were invitations originated, listen to me once again, by the president-elect and his team. Not the country Republic of Ghana, in the case of Goodluck.
Oh, I see.
Goodluck, a former president. There's a sitting Nigerian president.
Yes.
So he couldn't have been.
Yes.
But he's a statesman.
Yes.
Olusegun Obasanjo, he would have maybe on an African states, maybe an African Union, and then the buy. But on his own, so by at the instance of the invitation from the president-elect.
But isn't it also surprising to see a coup d'etat president and as a military officer in the case of Burkina Faso, so ultimately attended a fashion like this?
What is wrong with that?
Well, I mean, so why are you cool? He's not an elected president.
Why are you cool? Okay, stand there. You want to go to school?
Yes, I mean, why not?
He's a head of state.
Yes.
Head of state, former, informer. Either coup or elected. He represents a certain country called Burkina Faso.
Yes, sure.
As a head of state.
Yes. Yes.
So, why was he invited? Ono, Pediasi Declaration 1, Declaration 2, Declaration 3. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the Ghana and the ECOWAS. Declarations of Pediasi 1 and 2 and are turning the table of Burkina Faso. Say Omunka African Union, ECOWAS Hubium.
I see.
Oma suspend you. Right?
Yes.
The declaration 1 not suspended Dumboya.
Yes.
Of Guinea.
Yes.
And the declaration 2 suspended Assimi Goïta of Mali. And the 3 suspended Damiba.
Okay.
Paul Henry Santiago Damiba, Burkina Faso.
Yes.
On the Captain Traoré.
Yeah.
But then Captain Traoré ni Damibano, you can't call it that a coup d'etat. It was a change of regime.
Okay.
A palace coup.
Okay.
The boss no. And on any coup. And the coup only two Kabori. Only two Kabori no.
And on the
only two Kabori no. The junta's mission was that ye caught near mercenaries. Ye caught near you for Akokun, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Sawad and Sadin. All the rebels and the terrorist group are all pretty Burkina. But Omnia power new year to Kabori ma Kabori Johnny Yeno. And Paul Henry Santiago Damiba. The ideals and philosophy ideologies are Omdi Kuno. Now Undi so he was turning back to the French.
Oh, I see.
To behave the same way like Kabori was doing. So the boy also had a formation. Ibiasida, SMC1, SMC2, which is Kutu a champion, and then FWK a Kufu.
Akufu, yeah.
Do you understand me?
Yes.
It was something like that. Now, what I say, I didn't coup d'etat. Your friend is a coup d'etat leader, and I said,
yes.
Why military regime. Let me put it on records, and I've heard one of the reasons God may firm and make us and the normal circumstances.
Yeah, sure.
Once throughout the election year,
yeah.
I don't grant interviews. I try to stay neutral in some cases. But I think, say, too much pollution in the air. So we must set it straight.
The record
we must set a lot of record straight in this particular studio.
Yes.
Echo has so many weapon.
Yeah.
Ahanam can the same seat. That is why I decided to come here and set this record straight. And that is how it is.
Okay.
The United Nations of the congregation of 178 countries is the International Democratic Forum, congregation of all democratic governments and the governments of the world, with Secretary General of the UN, Awatiho. How many of the African leaders in the 80s, in the 90s, we had as many as almost 24 African leaders who were all wearing military uniforms into the UN General Assembly chamber.
Wow.
Jerry Rawlings, back to back, 19-year rule, or UN General Assembly with uniform 11 years. Sani Abacha, or UN General Assembly with military uniform. Obasanjo, or UN General Assembly, all throughout his government, until say Buhari ni Idi Agbon too, no, they were also going to the UN General Assembly. Majority as there.
Yeah, sure.
Now, Nigeria, Abacha, Olusegun Obasanjo, Buhari, Omunyina no mko UN General Assembly. What about Habre? What about Lassana Conte? What about Lamizana? Majority as there.
Yes.
Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso had a military leader who was Blaise Compaoré. Or UN General Assembly for how many times? At that time, Sierra Leone, Valentine Srasa, 25 years, with Saj Musa, 23 years. They were going to UN General Assembly with military uniform. John Jerry Rawlings went with military uniform.
Yeah.
Sierra Leone had a military leader. Guinea had a military leader. Guinea-Bissau, they had military leader. Omar Bashir, Central African Republic, Bongi. All this at that time, Obiako UN General Assembly, plus what about the Latin Americans? What about the Caribbeans? Cuba, Fidel Castro, almost or UN General Assembly without, with any suit, or with military uniform. The observer to the UN General Assembly, yes, Arafat, or the uniform, and called uniform, the Vice Clinton, White House. Back to back military uniform.
I see.
There is no way all those professors and then lecturers, security experts in Omkase were a democratic president and didn't know the military. No country we in our governance system. How many military leaders have ruled this country longer than democratic?
Yes, absolutely.
Yet Ghana every time is one of the countries in Africa that spoke on the UN podium with a military uniform. So it is not a crime, it is not bad that the gentleman came here with his uniform. Ogel, Ogel of Gabon,
yes, Gabon,
he decided to wear. Ogel did not come because he was from Central Africa. Ogel came because he's a friend, coach me, of President Mahama. So at the instance of the president, he came.
I see.
Don't forget, I have coordinated with Osei J of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, former Foreign Minister, when His Excellency Nana Dankwa was sworn in 7th January. The same way, I stood in as the liaison officer coordinating for the Republic of Ghana. And then Osei J stood in for Ghana. We received him, the president. There are a lot of things we don't have time. So now let's come back to why Traore's issue had become an issue.
Yes.
Ebi said, Ukra Gan.
Yes, on the two crashes.
What are we talking about here? We're talking about people are reading regular security intelligence. About your and yes, cyber security near here. We are talking about diplomatic security. Diplomacy has its own intelligence. Diplomacy has its own security. And I'm putting on record. Diplomacy is not about anybody's social illustrations. It's not about anybody's intelligence. It's not about anybody's assumption. It's not about anybody's presumptions. And it's not about anybody's feelings. Diplomacy is a principle. Diplomacy is a standard. Diplomacy deals with objectivity. Diplomacy deals with subjectivity.
Oh, it deals with objectivity and subjectivity.
So you must be subjective, a topical subject. You must be an objective, that this is it.
Okay.
This object.
I see.
Yes. And it goes not with anybody's feelings. So what we saw, and it said, 6 January 2025, 11:59 p.m., Ghana elsewhere in new parliament.
Yeah.
His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the regime comes to an end soon as the parliament of his republic, of his government is dissolved.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, sure.
So 11:59 p.m., who mounts into the podium? The Ghana presidency goes back to the Chief Justice. Because parliament is dissolved.
No speaker.
No speaker.
Yes.
So within an hour, President of the Republic of Ghana, interim, at that time, Chief Justice. Chief Justice moved to be a president of Ghana until 1 hour or 1.5 hours. In between that time, no, office clerk, the clerk of the parliament, induction, roll call, and mentioning of the incoming members of parliament, swearing in those who are going to swear in on the 9th. Chief Justice, you know, never swear parliamentarians in. The speaker.
Yeah, sure.
So between that time, no, Ghana president, Chief Justice.
Okay.
Or swear in Speaker of Parliament. Around 12:1 thereabout. I stand to be corrected on at the time. Around 1:30. Ghana president goes back to Aban Gbagben.
Yes. Yes.
So Aban Gbagben at that time becomes the Ghana president. From that time until 12:30 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. or 11 p.m. Sorry, a.m. Kopim say your best way new president.
Okay.
So that is the catch. Burkina Faso, the guy, 36-year-old boy, he's super intelligent. Who are the people sitting there? Tinubu was there.
Yeah, Tinubu was there, yeah.
ECOWAS has declared him not a member. They later wanted to warm themselves to him diplomatically. Waiman Tiase. Oma formu Sahel into Adane Hoso. If the guy had come to Ghana around 11:52 p.m. on the seat, Nana Addo can cage him in. I'm not saying that he was going to do that, but his security, they can withdraw and expose him to his enemies.
Oh, I see.
So he's not stupid.
I see.
He was not a friend of Ghana. He's a neighbor of Ghana.
Yeah.
But because ECOWAS declaration to reject him and move his country out of ECOWAS was originated from Accra. So he sees Ghana.
I don't meet his Wahab
Peduasi 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I see.
And the guy is not stupid.
Interesting.
And to make it sure, sir, the presidency was not in the hands of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I'm not saying, sir, Nana Beyeni Bibi. But we're talking about a trust, faith, and salvation.
Interesting.
Interesting. So I'm not inside. What time did he come? Go and check.
Yeah, I remember because as at 7th in the morning, Namibisa protocols they said say Afena Burkina Faso president Eba.
So let me take you and the public through. In the time now Obemuno. Gabon leader and the Obaba died.
Yeah.
He didn't have any problem.
Yeah, sure.
But when no time now Obemuno, one, there's what is called diplomatic protocol of a visiting head of state or visiting president. I want a security person or my bone or one person.
Yeah, security person.
So from someone when I'm interview or my bone person said. So who invite president head of state? No bababia, your friend be diplomatic protocols.
Okay.
Security protocols. Entry protocols.
Okay.
And he said, the who host you no, and no obano, or the checklist.
Okay. Okay.
The diplomatic checklist of the visit, and he said, may the head of state, head of the delegation, head of state, in this case, Captain Traore, may the 19 soldiers armed, weapon carrying, a trainer de banner, the AK-47 4, yeah, the Brent 5, yeah, the Kafrenikov 8, pistols, assault rifles, etc. 9.
I see.
And Nipa 13 and the Beshe military uniform, Ekura guns.
In the bag or exposed?
Exposed.
Oh, I see.
Send the protocols or the abano.
Yes.
Then the team, the government or the president-elect that is hosting him, also saw your validation.
Okay.
Now, no national security. And for that matter, military, you deal with the Air Force. You deal with near with a flight ban or deba. Or some of the commercial jet, but in the case of the Burkina guy, cleverly, or the military jet nearby. So the military jet nearby, on team packet our commercial side.
Okay.
And so the flight in BC Air Force.
Oh.
Now Air Force was kind of flight, No, I sure said, once he's out of the aircraft, Obeja 10 or 15 military men manning or guiding the aircraft.
Oh.
No, my drop room or flight, Pilots, and then the co-pilot, and then the air hostess, Omusia, cabin crew for Nisia, straight away to hotel. Mahama. Then the military take over with the Ghana military. No more did that flight. And Burkina Faso all by the shy crown. Need to than in chain. Or share flights no copy himself the president. Baba. Now, or your military leader and in the protocols, Ghana Army or Air Force have to make sure his security. President Mahama, His Excellency, have been a president. When your protocols or the Baba breast on your TV say he has shared with them. And he knows.
Yeah.
So the transition team might not know, but the president knows. Now, or say, I'll go through principal streets of Accra Airport, direct route. You don't just get up and say, so sure. So your advanced protocol, motorcade, obedi car scanning up to the Independence Square. And make sure, say, Trotrobian says you cancel. Burkina Faso leader is spending 12 minutes from the Air Force. Opiano, ebi awa nko VVIP lounge.
I don't know your Ghana security.
Ghana security ne ono na
Ghana security. Okay.
Ono be chiraw.
Oh, okay.
Into akwa onko babia straight away Oba Independence Square.
Oh.
Now that is how he's going to enter. Oba, and as he did, Oba V-shape security. Oh, na ohwe betu hu de wo kire. V-shape security ohwe ya.
Oh, me fa badwa baso.
Oh, soldiers be 5, 6, 7 wa ha.
Yes.
Or be 6, 7 or
yes.
Obia with weapon.
Yes.
What I said.
Yes.
Then he blocked the vein at the back. No, be infantry, so he's the arrow man. And he had decided not to drop the car. Maybe a president,
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
that's true.
Did he do that?
Yes.
It's part of his protocol.
Yes.
Into Oba walk 100 meters or 150 meters, so they can have clarity.
Interesting.
Why? Because our enemies.
Yeah.
Echo as enemy. Tinubu your enemy. Why? Because Tinubu French, pro-French.
Interesting.
His Excellency Nanado, pro-French, but only they know any picture anymore. It does not mean say we are afraid. Say obi betima becheno. Say the area security officials in Biaka say expert von be say Argentina ukretu Argentina eden. One, and the public should notice. It could have been said on a Republic of Ghana government. Not Ghana government, President Mahama. I agree. And they have scanned them, say, toy guns. But there is what is called presidential signature, and there's what is called presidential brand.
Okay.
What makes Traore, his brand of dress, his coat of dress, his signature of dress. Wama President Mahama Tiasie, any security couple, no manage president Tiasie, or the person Babon. Minu me ni ankwaya person could be a third person.
You need to mean
and I'm say person no cry be any ammunition.
Sure.
But to send a signal that this is the way I go to places. President Pacho minu anu better measure hand gloves. Minu anu measure hand gloves. Meba this is the way I'm entering into the podium. Other presidency in Africa came on besi e wani mo.
Yes, Over the other side.
The security protocol.
Yes.
And why any V-shaped entry. It is done by KGB.
I see.
To monitor and to guide Putin. No.
Interesting.
It is done by Israeli Mossad.
Wow.
Israel Prime Minister acquired Israel for a V-shaped plus. Not Prime Minister initiative. Where covered or covered now don't buy. These are special forces are snipers.
Okay.
They didn't come and joke. Aunt now, Emma Burkina, a country from almost day one of independence 1960, Oma ye coup d'etat, go and check Burkina democratic elected presidents.
Sure.
Oma ye coup become ye coup 2 days. Obia ye prime head of state 2 days, ye be 10 days, ye be 17 days. And to him say, now before so baba there been the coup. And on him say Damiba at Togo heya. And they could harm him whilst he's coming or whilst he's leaving, not on the podium of the descent. And president had agreed with him, say yes, oba bra.
Okay.
Protocols on President Mahama nina deal.
Oh, okay.
And in the public listening.
Wow.
President Mahama is not ordered by any law. Say on country obi say no any Burkina Faso leader neighbor. He's aware already what the boy is coming. Obacha say we true right. Obaba bako left and bako bebo ni now. This is how I'm going to enter. Now people did not read meaning into how the boy went into the podium. Oba and of force. There are two things. We call it where diplomacy meets culture.
Yes, where diplomatic meets culture. Okay.
A conjuncture of the two. The boy exhibited the two. Very intelligent guy.
Yes.
He went to the podium and straight away to the vice president. And then the Burkina culture. How many tribal settings know Burkina? Half of Burkina population, they are Moshis. They have Fulani.
Okay.
They have the Gurinzi. They have the Mande. They have other tribes. He's a Moshi boy. In the Moshi culture, which we have the same thing in the Ghanaian North. So when you are going to greet a woman who can be your mother, you take off your cap.
Oh, I have video no enter honomo so that we can all relate to it. Yes.
And taking off your cap, you take off with the left. You don't take off the right. It's an insult. So he took off the cap with his left.
With his left. Wow.
And then stretch out. That's diplomacy with the right. And have a handshake with her. Please, uncle Hagen say any mommy and aunt and family member ko wie and you no ko Hagen. But you Hagen ka Ghana for baka say boy no pay vice president.
Also kra na bia so da.
Wako Hagen no. And no be another story.
Interesting.
On my diplomatic handshake. Omuvu wie no who was still the president of the Republic of Ghana is already declared. But then who had been the interim president
that is
our receiver no. He came here when Abambagwen was the president of Ghana. So he went to Abambagwen. But then, of course, I didn't know Chi Obanwe no. Or Sadeni Chenche. Or the Chenche said, he's a head of state of a country. He's wearing his cap. This is how he dressed.
Okay.
So Otuni Chenche Abambagwen is against diplomacy. He has lowered Burkina Faso to Ghana.
Oh.
And head of state and head of state. Vatican head of state is Pope, Holy See.
Wow.
On chain Ibrahim Traore. On chain Bassirou Faye of Senegal. Every head of state or head of government, all of them are the same. With the same power. It doesn't matter so Russia president or Chinese president. In just ordinary Chinese share back. Whoever who be our kokro ya hwanyu
or no your pet.
Or no your pet. In terms of the president, age there is a number.
But in the case of the vice president or your bad there, your culture.
Oh man, no culture. That's culture meeting diplomacy.
Interesting.
The boy existed.
Interesting.
Me, my whole, but I clap for him. I know what was going to happen.
But I was also standing right before, so I was observing, but that
is it.
Interesting.
Okochi ani wiye no, oko president no, na ne cheshe no. One kasa as President Mahama will put it, is my young brother. So beautiful. Oya ni young brother no, say Okochi President Mahama no, went to nature.
That we went to nature because only a pet.
Only a pet. Now another interesting scenario people were talking about Ghana born. Kwame Nkrumah kura walking stick. Sekutore okura walking stick.
Yes.
Mobutu Sese Seko okura walking stick. Kenneth Kaunda no okura walking stick. Eyadema no okura walking stick. Between you and I and all of us in the public listing, security experts Muntie, walking stick. A lot of them are guns. Omar Bashir and the walking stick, and it was a gun.
Oh, I see.
Sanya gun, cry walking stick. We go for it. A crown or you win payam. Any two before so obey her or be armono near this armono. Then they dangerous. In Tinka, Traore by and no cry walking sticker. And Kabaka said,
dangerous weapon.
It's dangerous more than even the gun.
I see.
And nobody knows whether he had ammunition in the gun or it was a toy gun. I wanted the Inhiamo, near Timanya, professors, lecturers, Ghana security experts, Timika Mujina political science school, a lecture and cry said it was even wrong. So the military uniform, bad democratically elected president swearing in. And I've told you and I've educated you, say, even the congregation of the United Nations General Assembly, they were wearing more than 35 military uniforms. Mexico for Georgescu of Romania, he was a military leader.
I see.
Or called UN chamber with military uniform. What about the Peru? What about the Ecuador? What about El Salvador? What about the Colombiana? What about Papua New Guinea? All of them were military leaders in the 90s, etc. But they come to the UN chamber with military uniform. So please, let's get it clear. So I'm crying out, mutual diplomacy, I'm not to a church, so lecture biaba. No Baba catcher will say democratically elected president, you have military uniform coach and catch and say UN Secretary General you the military uniform chairman.
I see.
I've cleared that part of it.
Yeah, sure.
So the guy came.
No, but before you proceed, Mami who said this same scenario, yeka wasem EBS dana.
Say Obi president Bikra Kwacha Obi.
Yes.
Now you be it is even extreme for anybody to imagine. It's extreme.
Because President Kufuor, in the case of President Kufuor and President Bush.
Yes. Remember how?
Okay.
President Bush visit to President Kufuor. I did.
Okay.
Some works.
Oh, okay.
Protocols at the airport.
Yes.
I'm
interested because related to this.
President Kufuor is alive.
Yes, sure.
Sir, American for checklist. And no protocol, diplomatic protocols. Diplomatic protocols, I've said, is not about any ordinary security intelligence. The diplomatic protocols is something I've said is based on principles and agreements. Or the checklist by America for the old reading we call Abubefu. What are some of them? President Kufuor share George Bush. That one was okay. Or call a culture assembly. Or the next US or bar. Radar control, flight, radar control. America for take over. Monko Ghana Civil Aviation.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
How?
2 hours before the flight of U.S. President Obama, Clinton, Bush, Ebesa Ghana, within 2 hours, they will instruct the country Ghana as part of the protocol agreement. Say, yeah, my plane, there, my Ghana airspace.
Wow.
And then the West Africa, Ghana, a radar control, no kwa there. Jerimu ya adie, Ghana for ya adie. Ye radar control ntimi kwa kudu Lagos. Nigeria for the ntimi nduha. Ye radar control etwem Ouagadougou.
I see.
Etwem Côte d'Ivoire. In America for na betena soro ho, making sure said there's a total clearance in the air. President Kufuor be sign and na won sign binua kakra hian no wa sign checklist one. No atake. Oba or the 2 aircraft, 1 backup. President India need the second to land. Okay. But the first one to land on the Air Force backup. But Chobetiasia na no atake. Oba wo Air Force say na person mu ye America before so obeba now the Marines about 3 months ahead of the visit enombedi okrumha. Aye exercise security exercise akombu ye for ye yini nyina ye airport wo ba bia. Omu wie ye no maba hotels or high buildings across Oma culture so mbeji including the tower of the airport.
Oh.
Only yes, part of the agreements. He's no more president, so I can speak on the subject. So if it was a president, President Kufuor giving in. It is called agreement diplomatic agreements of diplomacy. What he has said, do visit also of the visit agreements of the visit. Meba or call Castle Osu. America Judy President Kufuor nearby name the security protocols ne say United States President or co African country enye UK no ko enye Germany enye ya bia omoju settings ni di no e bia na President Kufuor kura nim and say obi Mahama ye mienu no we will scan the executive wing and the offices so the president have to step out from his office.
Oh,
near move and krama na kum.
How? Why?
Service dogs
Why?
Or scanning for
president is your no office. Now or receive another president from outside. Is he a movie president now or no host president in the office? Now camera was scanning home.
When I'm say we delay what is called emotions. Diplomacy has got nothing to do with emotions.
Interesting. I mean,
diplomacy has got nothing to do with feelings. Diplomacy has nothing to do with social illustration. They're all kind of a combination of social illustrations and emotions.
Interesting.
And then what you call it expectations. Diplomacy has got no expectations. We are talking about subject, object, principle, and then standard practice. Do you and a friend standard practice? Also, President Kofonya me ba ne bia no bibi kwa no bi power you bibi. Enti agye ni say me na be safe. Kodwo pianim office, come on, get out. Obi abepie, yes, can you be a
wow.
Executive wing bia na nkrama na ba out. No ma be certify. Was shaky the service commander of the dogs akre and son of president ko so wuji so mu di agro. Omu wi ye no 2 days visit. Abra George Bush call mon kanje president Kofo ko eme ofa na mu misa ne say George Bush call part of the protocols I signing here no na obia ntimi mfa na ni hwe the direction of President Bush and President Kofo right from the VVIP launch.
Why?
That time so what you say immigration boss near friend Matthias, he was there.
Okay.
Colonel, I know the coordinator, security coordinator of Ghana Aviation International Airport, Kotoka. Onukaya manengurum. I entered, but I'm the security. Let's get the fuck out of here. Come on, get out. Sergeant on duty, no control. We might take over Ghana VVIP. What did we do? Obia ojina hobia mo journalists who pa check it. Mo nyam search. Journalists they don't go gu anwaka tipa truck. And the DC tamak no so yes scanning wo mu cameras you and the dome nyina kini KG wo mu and the Marines twa wo mu hia. They were the people who were having a site. President Kofo and the ministers so dome ko nyina no everybody has to turn around. President and his wife, Bush and his wife, they were the people working on the red carpet. Time now, all where now about Akofan can the beast before he goes to join the aircraft. Now Ghana Culture Assembly, Omo Bokiti, and when you receive no problem, Mama, all corner ye Bokiti no, Edijano Quino, not US Army, John Boy, or call baby on Bokiti no, they spend music for coordinator, a friend Bapia, or what my friend Musan said, me say, because I was there. Omo bonyum and crying inside gregre na kwano kama say they have to scan the drums na kama na ko say drums no say bush bantum ko touch na ya mono new drums e dina aboa na mpeke cent ni ye aboa ni shake drum be 2 US Army or fight twene no de sika wo mu say bra say you know butu twene ni 2 get out for out of here move fa mo twene ni free onko.
Interesting.
It was part and agreements of the protocols. Said they make sure say, Omo yomo juma, Omo say Omo. That's how security aspect said. Then you know Mufisa Grau Kromana. You don't know about security. You don't know diplomatic security, diplomatic intelligence. Don't talk. Now I tell you, and when him there by, Anna, Obia share outside. Only journalists kakra na KG omo and omjia no mo. Even George Bush, President Kofo Jano kwa mumusa President Mahama, mumusa former president bia o belts red carpet rube bia o the host nkwa udu. Udu a no agina ho. Na watene Bush, also no nye diplomatic.
Yeah, sure.
And you know onante basabasa. The coordinator was a sergeant. Ocha President Kufo we no dey know say or shout no stand there Mr. President. No gina ho because we State Department they are monitoring him from America and we gina ho and we be walking in. American president does not go in front of the car to sit. You go through the back.
Okay.
Into a call back no. Wo gina ho on tinaka enu ko bie don tinam say dia ha obi abre na president na wo wasi no mo dey no who dare you American. Omo mani gina ho. Then the coordinator through his ears, State Department is watching. 1, 2, 3 instructions. Bush tracker and no so no atwe no. Or the insert na pump no akana shem.
Oh.
Otan ka anim wi na bisin 2 year no. Eko tamak no enyan president Kofo enyan ankodwu clean no. Ka ne na di ni free ho na de no koe. Into a full staircase ni wi an wagina soro wa wevu. Enu ko wevu na chakra anyom be kan inside to form. You push him in. Wow. After obi atimi dan ani. Ama fo agina ho be 45 minutes na ni hwa dan. Do you understand what is called diplomatic protocol?
Papa,
I mean that's a major. When Nanado swearing in, the Gabonese president by on record, His Excellency Nanado government and inviting Odimba Omabongo. When we had the protocols, the checklist, any agreements, I did the Gabon part, or say the Ghana part.
Oh, okay.
The president was built to go and rest from airport. Our Kempiski,
okay.
But now Gabonese students, because no free election then chair. No position for Jean-Pierre and Chinese in now or contesting. All the students are big good Kempiski, about discrediting the presence, and I picked that intelligence. So we decided not to bring the president to Kempiski for that humiliation. I, coach me and asked Sergey, I took Prestige apartments, opposite Korea Embassy at the back of police headquarters. A president, I'm Kwaji house, and a ground floor. And from airport now, arrival ceremony in New Year, straight away, they catch a motor rider near decided, and we informed the national security, we informed the Presidential Protection Force. Say Gabonese president in our Kempiski Bayam Fadenko. This is why we are going, so they should be on alert. Straight away, I didn't call Prestige. Or Kakaya and Huyi. What did they mention? Now, from Prestige, straight away we are bringing him to the podium. We are podium no. Once the president yesterday in we are Oko International Conference Center, no receive, no I tete another proper official handshake, no more wishing the well.
Sure.
Then agreement with Ghana and what I signed was that President Onna, 2 from the
Onna Ghana.
Derby, Onna. The security coordinator was a Chinese man. Okachem's Al. On Dopa is usually on Valley, on the party. They are not sleeping here, they will go. So that one was known. We communicate to the Ghana government, say Gabonese government will seek a passage after greeting the president post swearing in. In the the co-chair president in New back into his car. We have the detailed other cars, convoy cars in the line straight away. But the 30 contingent, and you didn't know, these are certain protocols, sir. It has nothing to do with anybody who claims to be a cyber security expert. No. Ambajo Uchemi. Obiako, Nigeria, Aso Rock to visit, to go to Nigerian presidency. It's a lot of women.
Yeah.
The kind of processes that you go, the kind of security tubes I be going through. Yani adini amegudi agra birthday party cry near president no maba no abesa because it's a calm country, it's a peaceful country.
Yeah, sure.
It's me. Not that we stand there no. So be baha. Now ba say enya country ni na invite no. Travel enya Ghana na invite no. President Mahama na invite no. He was coming because of President Mahama. He didn't come because of Republic of Ghana. Into a friend. And President Mahama had assured, say, or establish diplomatic relations, which is a very thing. Ni neighbors so no more problems. Also, in one union, problem or how solve because our trade bilateral and our culture, tribal settings, no money in our border. We've spoken about President Kofo name Edison. Obama Bahano, Oko Cape Coast. So be who the entourage or the Cape Coast. Now American soldiers nearby no. Why no own create you? Marine from a blue chroma did that, but they were gun wielding army marines. Oh, and no move president, Now mentioned Obama by among call Holiday Inn Hotel. Me, I say things and give references so that you can check. Omuba and Holiday Inn Hotel, that was camouflage place where the president was supposed to sleep.
Oh.
A dummy place.
I see.
But no in a safe house.
Oh, okay.
They can't safe house. Will be our here, you know.
Yeah,
they understand.
Sure.
No in a safe house, American phone him in better.
Oh, okay.
Do you get it?
But now you're Holiday Inn.
The Holiday Inn Hotel. Floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, up to 5th floor. Room now no 509. That also they gave Americans gave to Ghana. Say room imagine the Obama no 509 ho no koda. Monko Holiday Inn Hotel go business or die. Obeda ho. All the whole Holiday Inn Hotel so you know omo 5. And omo
even when he's not sleeping there.
Oh, so we don't miss Obabeda. They create the dummy. And omo first floor. And omo second floor. And omo nkrama ne gumu. Nkrama. America's sniffer dogs. Service security dogs, FBI, CIA, come and be a FBI agent, a CIA agent, a be a SSS, state security agents. Omunina baby, Omun number that anymore, or first second floor, and no seal off the staircase, and no seal off the elevator up to the 5th floor.
Interesting.
And then they put Ghana national security, and of course some of them were BNIs to mix up with them. Also to have a blend of the local settings.
Yeah, sure.
The American still are on traso. In Ghana security quad in the Bamano, or Messa Scano or pocket. As I normally wako post. One mount crept you.
We be the truth.
Oh, my own crept you.
Wow.
Obama, Messom Jedine, Holiday Inn Hotel. 2 floors, no man crama demo. And no more top. Until say American president obey free the airspace of Ghana. So sniper a phone kwan no omu free ho. Radar control no omu free ho. They make sure that the president is out of the airspace of Ghana. And say no marines in omu radar control a monitors no. And say no omu see from. That another president no call. Then they have the other way omu susu be follow no.
I see.
That is how the security protocols and then the intelligence protocols. So there's a difference between diplomatic intelligence protocols and then ordinary security protocols. These are what Cyber Cafe, and then it's not about somebody's own expectations. But what they are saying.
Yes. Matthias, but during the swearing-in ceremony,
yes,
you could observe after so Kokuchia Ibrahim Kokuchia. I don't know if I should call the then president or
already a president of Ghana.
No, speaker.
Yes.
Speaker Nyadaje Church Burkina where the Church Ghana for said they are men of brave men and what have you.
So no
yes, so now other countries were Musa. And all the other 21 heads of states now would say the other side and I could see say Ibrahim Mukono, I don't recall so Chiaomo. He didn't shake hands with them.
The ECOWAS leaders,
yes,
the African Union, they claim to have a problem with the boy because a coup, but he's not the only person to have staged a coup.
Oh, okay.
And you can't say no more problem. There is what is called maybe irregular friendship. And a boy and he's concentrating on his country. He's only been out to Russia and been to Ghana.
Oh,
and know about business. Well, he's a serious person. So this is what the guy came in. He came in with energy.
Yes.
He came in with charisma. He came in with diplomatic intelligence. Very resolute. Very respectful. But then he came in as a soldier. That's what they said.
Yeah, sure.
So you saw him say he's very energetic. Oh yeah. Very enthusiastic about what he's doing. Very, very smart on what he's doing. And then he carried the country Burkina and the youthful exuberance and the expectations of Burkina who were watching him. So he goes into any other country with the same bravery.
Oh, I see.
And that is what I said.
I see.
The signature. Go ahead.
And unfortunately, V-shape Nana Okano.
Yes.
I could see in the military, Tama not crowd.
Yes.
Now Ebinumujina one side and the other side.
That is you. That one you call it. When you they gave him U shape.
Oh.
I was saying no team
yeah, sure.
Until they cover the back.
Oh, okay.
No
okay. So they be so actually.
Yes, of course. The U shape. They themselves. They don't go ma maso mba share Oma share ceremony nibi.
And they were carrying bags. They have
detonators.
Wow.
They have detonators. Bag look as to say other president to another bag no. Yeah. They be unaccountable impress. It was so. Everyone the BP drugs. They call us. Cholesterol drug gumo. Onu me prostate drug. Onu cholesterol. The BP gumo na that the same thing. The become bag in the crown. A drug gra. What is the mention?
But quite interesting to know. They moving away from the story in Nayemra, the State of the Nation's address. I mean, the president's security collapse here.
Yes.
Abrana, the president, Emma, the State of the Nation's address.
Yes.
At that point in time, collapse here, you could see some pages. In fact, so I could see the reaction of some of the medical team, which to me it wasn't the best. Few minutes later, it took about more than 3-4 minutes, and Sana, the vice president security, the police service, the president chief. Then over 10 minutes, and yes, so Jennifer Fra over replacing one dressing to say the president's security guard. What is that security implication all about?
Okay, so one, I've said and I repeat again, a joking paradise.
Oh,
Ghana is a joking paradise. Okay, because on him say Parliament, I want a heart attack. Parliament in the world, wow. Heart attack. Politicians, more HBP patients, baby, cholesterol patients, baby, and any serious nation. Almost parliament, including the oldest parliament in the world, which is Iceland, they introduced parliament in the Nordic. Almost every serious nation parliament, American Congress, American Senate, US, UK, lower, upper chambers, etc. They make sure there's a standby emergency physician, a standby medical team. They are not shown, but they have their room and they are there.
Yeah.
But what they say?
Yeah, sure.
It should not take more than a minute.
Not more than a minute?
Not more than a minute for them to walk in the chamber. They were parliamentarian will be called to an act of shock.
Yeah, sure.
But what they say? And you're Nigerian for Senate now. Say, Obia di Bonnet, and I say, calling Senator to no down. And you're Nubia. In a proper worst case scenario, organic.
Okay.
So the moment that the man obi a cracker say and now no so jenino all call from one who's oba betiato and a wanka there say obi no BP so when you HBP high blood pressure or the then will beat him, he's not in control of himself.
Sure.
I'll bet him saying Benya BP president Nana Adwani Somu, the president would have held him. So sure the president was even this,
no, he didn't know who in the
that's
first
what
place.
I mean.
Until the reaction from the members of parliament
Public,
and the president telling the chief. And quickly, first person will be Katie Hammond. At
that time, now medical team boy.
It took about
but
3 minutes.
Any serious nation, if Ghana is not a joking paradise, but they see anything, His Excellency President Mahama is your regime now. We don't talk about what is in the past. It is your duty to make sure that thing is fixed. Honorable Ambagben, it is your duty to make sure that Parliament will have a standby medical team with defibrillators, with shockers, certified nurse, certified physician on the budget of what? Parliament. Our mobile Parliament 24 hours.
Now, say kwa no munya water tender, fire tender crazy hono mo na bi crazy.
So mo adwumu no ya bompa ya ho ntianhye. What I say? And team emergency situation. And I will can how it took how many minutes and sand will be baba. That is where and how we say in a situation of a country that does not take security at a certain level with essence, with seriousness, and that is where, assuming, that's not what I'm trying to say, but possibility said, say guy no fake here, and no what external motive, and no more group be something to distort the attention of the parliament, including the president. And the time by na pandemonium reactions, you know, before saying another chin and nanki abachin ko dada.
But the CDS, that's CDS etiedimu, and IGP so to the other side.
Yes, IGP tell it take is an IGP ko jump into the forum, only chief of defense staff. It take how many minutes?
Oh, but omo no much what that.
Thank you, I'm chair say. They are all their duty. Yes, their duty. They are also part.
Yes, sure.
Of the Presidential Protection Force at that level. One would have seen, say, Sebi, Brunia, Komkran the medical rush. What are they supposed to do? Man who said, Obi, they're supposed to quickly go and round
the president.
Yes, sir. He was the first person to be protected because it could have been a fake.
Yeah.
It could have been a stage. It could have been anything else.
And could they have also moved him out of the podium?
Exactly, you moved him out from the podium. Nanado was standing there waiting to continue and read.
Yes. And
and they didn't take the president to.
And nobody also. Nobody paid attention.
And then I'm sure say Colombia, Latin America, and come papa ne de no koi.
Oh, I see.
But what I say?
Yes.
When you speak at home, when you're president, when you're chief of staff, or family and send you are. One aka. The next in command, the auditor general, also at in office. The Ben Nekwa president of Ghana.
Wow. Interesting.
What does I say?
Yes.
Because now the vice president, maybe. Then the vice president.
Oh, not vice president.
Sorry,
not
vice president. Yes, indeed.
In fact, the vice president.
Sorry, four. President, the vice.
Yes, and
a speaker, and a chief justice.
Chief justice.
And Nipa four. The next president of Ghana, auditor general. And she said, "Kobi ba mo four ne drum koya."
But another observation, before say I may go into details of that, so the nini etishi area no, okolapse area no, you could see say na ne chenda social no.
Oh, send the chenda na ntu. So I don't know force my chenda. I chenda decide say ntu meaning say we good military ntu no a share cheni.
But the na hit su. I mean, but that people also felt to say, "Naki so much to the channel," because at that point in time, he wasn't of himself.
I'm just have ventilation.
Yes.
Say Brunia.
I remember me say, "KTM no compare them."
Okay, one call send or responding to emergency because only medical team be out there.
But if for by, I mean, ambulance for by.
Ambulance for by.
Within short period.
Within short period, that's okay. But I'm saying, say, all these things, you know. Now, they say medical team, no, you more small back seat, no more chamber anymore. They are ready with their defibrillators to shock them, to defibrillate them in case somebody has that a shock.
Okay.
And now a Brunia or top form no, yeah, they believe you in a rank. Brunia come to chain a rank and quite to you have to empty him. I say, when you're bare chest, no CPR. I didn't see anybody
it took more than 10 minutes before they could do that. And I saw it.
That's what I mean.
Directly.
Papa, they should have, within a, you know, American here, fuck the shit out of it. I'm sorry. Why didn't we turn uniform no crowd to go? The body, the human being, uniform can always be fixed. Uniform can be gone, so the back can say uniform no. You are telling rank. Joking paradise. But what I say? You be a parliament, you know. What he said this issue? I expect. Said the first topical issue would have been that story and that encounter of what happened during the Sona. And for that matter, the Speaker of Parliament and the speakers, the Parliament, the ranking members, both sides would have raised that issue. At the same Parliament, no police for no market. How come Sir, such a thing has happened. It could have happened to the president. It could have happened to the speaker. It could have happened to any other president. Look at the response and the security. But what I say? And think a parliament, that should have been the first thing that they have to make sure and ensure say they are passing a bill, even though they have already the medical team, but they should structure the medical team well. Now, what is called assigned entities.
Okay.
BBC, who comes in? BBC, who are the first point of call? BBC, who are the first team to go closer? Majority, I say.
I see.
And then how would the president be protected in the pandemonium? More exposed to president. So he was in wilderness.
That is
so true.
That's so true. And then two quick questions.
Go ahead.
President Babi Frisuno, we heard and we saw so many national security operators among so many presidents. Ediomoka. Some of them, Ebinomoko strike near there. Ebinomokra, Mutuamoka, I mean, tabletop, 1,500 Ghana cedis. Some of the police officers were complaining. The military were also complaining. Our Flagstaff House. Some of them, it took a government official be to say, I don't want to mention names, but some government official be now, I mean, go in the Coco rescue the situation. Whilst near Campo others, Blue Gates on the Ministry of the National Security Ministry on now say about be free sooner all these security issues next at say pop bar. Does it have any implication now?
Okay, first of all, what happens? We don't have a clear cut of a security administration at the presidency, apart from say your director of operations, but your police administration, our presidency.
Yeah.
But the whole canon, it bothers on say your presidency. No, sorry to say, anybody that feels say he knows somebody or closer to the government, Otimi Asian uniform Krakotinaubi. The national security, only the coordinator of all security operations, especially at the presidency, supported by the Presidential Protection Force, supported by the police administration, that's the security community at the presidency. Omunam Bayese. Who are they? You brought boys, and Omunagu a car park, and everybody call himself national security personnel. Or badge, only badge, but it is identified say you say KB or JB. And TW or Soranapa, Utimu woman himself, Ekokotna presidency obi. And at what point in a French culture, at what point in any civilized culture, say President be called, now you a team call themselves say they are security operatives or presidency, Nyatana 8 years. What makes Kayam it's very shameful, eh?
And at the point they had to block the president.
I said,
from moving.
It's very shameful. Wow. His Excellency President Mahama, over to you. The National Democratic Congress also have done that in the past. They've done it President Mills' time. They've done it President Mahama's time. Those who go out there to hang at the presidency. The only president, in my view, was President Kufuor. Because MPNM didn't allow.
Yeah, sure.
They had sanity. They had respect, and they made sure say whoever comes to the presidency must be enlisted as part and parcel of the security coordinating list or team.
Okay.
And Sadiano, President Mahama emphasized the top agenda. Now on submit it to the national security say, with the only 25 people and the presidency, with the only 10 and the do operations, with the only 5. And this is the clear-cut number. Na nipa mebrebe na omkugu car park or presidency no. No. These are the people. President ni ko ahane sunyane a na omu ankasa on their own. Otu the car no the presidential convoy nachi just to be part of it because omkoba ni ache skadia momo. So that thing the office of the chief of staff. Because normally, the chief of staff budget, you don't need to do that. You cannot do that as a country. We can practice those kind of jokes and continue to feel, say, we are having a governance. No.
All right. Finally, my question. Obey available as ewo Mahama should in case a person from Abebuano as a diplomatic an international diplomatic consultant.
What's my?
Maybe so.
Well, send me again.
Be available.
Send me available, provided I'll not be as NDC or MPP employed or any person to serve. I can serve as a Ghanaian.
Okay.
But let me put something on record. There's things that we've done on the back that didn't come out.
Okay.
And I'm saying this because President Mahama is back as a president. Somewhere around 2015, 2014, now President Mahama and Buhari, because of good luck, exiting. Now rift kakra, but then there was discomfort.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. Better word to choose. Buhari ebufu because Nigeria Energy Minister design. Na wama Ghana ye use gas near the Kani in Chia. And we had an arrangement through certain company I can put on air. And tini in Chia gas in a car. Tina Kanaso. Buhari at a point and lawyer then and or two Ghana gas. But what they say, supply to Ghana. Because Buhari was the energy minister throughout his 8 years in England. One energy minister. Nigeria President Buhari was Nigerian oil minister throughout his 8 years.
Oh, I see.
And to as an oil minister, and or two gas.
Watching the ball.
Or two gas. Minister of Foreign Affairs at that time was Madam Heneteta.
Yeah.
Minister of Energy was Boa.
Amakofi Boa.
Kofi Abujinapo.
Yeah.
President was Republic was President Mahama. It was difficult to go to Buhari because we had a problem with him. And in this case, Nigerian Ministry of Oil, Ministry of Oil was at the presidency, Aso Rock, and on what on the gas. Say Ghana didn't care you try gas. I to Ghana to Aso Rock. Mene the late Michael Obobi, who was an aide to the president. And I'm saying this because President Mahama is back to power. I'm saying this on record for the first time publicly. I'm not the foreign minister of Ghana. I was not the energy minister. The energy minister, the foreign minister, except the president who knew what was going on. Intimidate Michael Obobi, I didn't call Nigeria. When I was taking him to Nigeria, Virgin Nigeria flight ticket was sponsored by myself. Oh. We went to sleep at a Grafton Hotel in Wusetu near the Aso Rock. It was my money that I paid for my own room. Marco Bobi paid. I took Marco Bobi to Nigeria presidency. When we went to the Aso Rock to go and see Buhari, Alhaji Maina, Commander Manu, Director Intelligence of Nigeria Army Commander, my good self, and then Alhaji Mekano, who was the AO, Administrative Officer of Buhari. President Mahama he's a president, he knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. When I took Marco Bobi in there, and when we went to Mekano, we went to sit in Buhari's office and told him, say, this is the situation. I said, yes, he's aware. He raised an issue, upbeat, but this is not an issue. He jokingly said, say, I swear in no. His Excellency President Mahama, Ninu Aketwa, or no be head of state in the 80s, and was in say, be crying and Ninu Aketwa. But Romu said, a good luck no choir on woman himself. Time yes, I did not President Mahama. Ako in Lorraine University, our Nigeria, no Koji Award. So Buhari jokingly told us, he is the president of Nigeria, and in Gobetima Loko, the airspace. Yeah. Now President Mahama Nyako MP. He jokingly said, so I brokered the deal in Buhari's office with the late Marco Bobi, with a large minor, a lady who crew my friend Lovia Boatin, she knows about what I'm talking about. And Sana Buhari said, Ghana yen Triebi. Into the amount that even we proposed to pay about $10 million, we ended up giving $3 million. But Buhari had told Marco Bobi, say, because of you, please, Mekano, see to it. And to know president or minister, no, Mekano could draft a letter, no, and was Sadi Buhari, and was signed before Ghana could make a deposit. Wow. Maybe I went with my own money, I came back with my own money. I like to serve and do things for the country not necessary to serve any government in the name of either NDC or in the name of MPP.